Each year, millions of customers flock into IKEA, everyone's favorite Swedish retailer. The company has somehow found a way to make customers assemble their own furniture and still love the product. This connection between labor and love is a perfect illustration of what economists have dubbed the IKEA Effect. At its core, the IKEA Effect is the idea that we overvalue things that we create ourselves. This might seem intuitive, but it flies against the grain of traditional economic thought. And some research from Michael Norton, Daniel Moshon, and Dan Ariely shows us why. Here's what they did. They divided people into two groups. Group 1, the builders, were given a plain IKEA storage box and told to assemble it. Group 2, the non-builders, were given a pre-assembled IKEA storage box and given a few minutes to inspect it. Once both groups had completed their tasks, they asked each group two things. First, how much money would you give in exchange for this box? And secondly, on a scale of 1 to 7, how much do you like this box? What they found is that the builders, the group that assembled their own boxes, were willing to pay 63% more for the box than the non-builders. And the builders also said that they liked the box more. We would expect the opposite result. Most of us avoid additional effort like the plague. But here, people who built objects liked them more and valued them higher. These results have also been replicated in similar experiments with paper origami and plastic Lego sets. So why is this happening? Why are people overvaluing the things they create themselves? We're not exactly sure, but researchers think that it has something to do with pride and self-confidence. Humans want to feel competent, to feel like we're effective, and self-created products allow us to do this. Because we build our own identity through our behaviors and actions, it's important that those actions are aligned with who we want to be. If we want to be seen as a capable and productive human, we have to prove that to ourselves through our actions. This is why when we build a bookshelf, we feel better about it than if we bought the same bookshelf pre-assembled. We take pride in that bookshelf that we put together because it's no longer just a bookshelf. It's a signal of our own competence to ourselves and to others. Now, the pride we feel for our own creations isn't the only thing causing the IKEA effect. Another driver here might be the emotional attachment we have towards something. This is similar to what's known as the endowment effect, which tells us that we value things more when we own them. If we're building something, it's likely that we're also building emotional attachment. We start to think of its positive attributes, and that makes us value it more. Obviously, these tasks can't be too difficult. We've all had to put something together that was too hard. When we're unsuccessful in building something or the experience is too frustrating, the IKEA effect dissipates. Now that we sort of understand why the IKEA effect is happening, what can we do with it? How might we use this? There are a couple of implications of the IKEA effect. First, we're sometimes led astray when we overvalue our own creations. Just because we put our own time and effort into something doesn't mean that it's better than what others have created. This is similar to the not invented here syndrome, where companies ignore outside ideas in favor of their own internal ones, even though they might not be as good. We should work to be aware of the fact that we systematically overvalue our own creations. The second implication is we can find ways to use this to our advantage, both as leaders and as individuals. The IKEA effect tells us that our desire and need to feel competent and signal that to others and ourselves might be a bigger motivator than we realize. As leaders, we can use this as a reminder that the micromanagement approach is seriously flawed. We should involve our people in projects, as letting them create things might lead them to be more satisfied with the end product. As individuals, we might come to realize that choosing to relax instead of engaging with labor might actually decrease our overall life satisfaction. As our world begins to double down on outsourcing the smaller tasks, and companies like TaskRabbit, Postmates, and Grubhub continue to proliferate, we might be leaving opportunities to feel prideful and competent on the table. Sure, we might save time or effort, but we might be sacrificing our overall happiness instead.